cardinals, they're spreading to the north because it's getting warmer. They're able to move now into southern Canada, where their range typically would have kept them farther to the south. So because some of our winters are not as, actually a lot of our winters are not as extreme anymore. Cold temperatures aren't lingering for months and months and months. We get early spring warm-ups. Cardinals are able to hang on and spend the winter in areas to the north where they never were before. Which for a lot of people are like, oh, that's great. You know, you get northern cardinals in, you know, more northern parts of Canada now, or, you know, up in the northern Great Lakes in larger numbers. But the issue is that what happens with some of these species that are moving to the north, they end up competing with species that are naturally in those northern areas. So let's say northern cardinal becomes more common abundant. It's going to compete with other ground-feeding birds where there's actually less food in general overall in the winter in these northern areas. Some species can bring in parasites. Some species, again, just pressure other because they're much more adaptable. They're able to hit many different food sources instead of a specific one. So when you have birds moving into other areas, and you know, so the argument is that, well, that's great. Northern cardinal's a larger range now, but that's not actually a good thing, again, because it's gonna push other species, it's gonna pressure them a bit more, and that's happening on a large scale with a number of species of birds that are, in general, moving north, moving their range north. Now, they're still staying in some of the native areas, but they continue to move north. Some birds are very adaptable. They really are very adaptable, but others just absolutely are not. Another thing that happens is that some species require colder temperatures to find their food, whether it's seeds, the type of fruit. So we'll see, and it's already happening, some species are moving up higher into mountain ranges than they were before because they want the cooler temperatures. What happens, though, is that they're not committed to surviving, you know, at 8, 9, 10,000 feet. What comes with that? There's different types of predators, different types of parasites, different types of insects that they either are or are not going to eat. So it just throws everything off balance, completely off balance.
And then that probably affects local ecosystems too, where the birds aren't anymore.
Big time.
North.
Big time, right, because we still need those species in a local ecosystem that may be moving out into another one. Yeah, that it's more likely then that a local ecosystem, if it sees some of its species moving north, invasive species would become more common and abundant because they'll just fill in the gaps because they're ultimately unstoppable. I mean, they're incredible. Starling and house sparrow are major invasive species. Pigeons are too. Pigeons are just pigeons. But starlings and house sparrows actually compete for nesting food very voraciously. So they would end up filling in those gaps, which would then push birds further out. Even though birds can adapt and fight back, but yeah, it just again throws everything off.